Yeah, cool. Hey, coach.
Hi.
I don't know if it's coming through right, but anyway, going into this weekend, facing off against Cal and Oklahoma, 1-2. What do you hope to learn, from your team going up against some of these big names in college gymnastics?
Yeah, I think this weekend is probably the best opportunity to prepare us both for our SEC championship and our regional weekend that we're going to have. So being on podium, a great opportunity for us. SEC championships are on podium. It has a little different feel to it, a little bigger stage, a little bit bouncier. So I think that'll be a great learning experience for all of our athletes and just a cool opportunity. There's going to be a big crowd there and obviously, lots of excitement with Oklahoma and Cal and Washington being there as well. It's a little different field than a dual meet. You've got everyone going simultaneously, so it runs a little bit faster, but it's a lot louder, a lot more distractions. So what a great opportunity for us to mentally and physically prepare for our championship season. And then just doing the back-to-back weekend, going again on Monday. And that was intentionally scheduled so that we can learn a lot about who's able to go back-to-back on a weekend with one day off in between. And we've got a really good game plan. So I'm just excited. I think our team is ready to attack this next challenge that we have on the road.
How's the vibe been in the locker room, going from, LSU where it was tough to Florida, another tough weekend, and now having to turn around quickly and, face some of the top teams in the next 72 hours, not even the Metroplex, but also facing Alabama again in the quad meet.
Yeah, well, I think, going into Florida, the vibe was really good. We very much felt like the team was in a place of we just need to reset. We need to go out there and just hit routines and feel good about it. And then, we did that up until balance beam, the last rotation, and got back and the vibe of the team was just a willingness to figure out what are the mental challenges that they're experiencing. And because it's very obvious that it's not a gymnastics problem, it's very much just how to manage mentally the pressure and the expectations when you start as well as we started in the beginning of the season. So, I'm really proud of the way they talked through it, that they've attacked the practices this week so far. And the only thing we can do is just keep getting better and keep improving and addressing some of the issues that have been showing up on the competition floor. But I have no doubt that they're gonna bounce back this weekend.
Cool. Thanks, coach.
Thank you.
Sierra, why don't you go ahead?
Sorry about that. My camera was being a little weird. So going back to Texas, there's a lot of athletes on your team that are from Texas, specifically Frankie Price and Leah Smith. So what does it mean to go back to the area and get those athletes the opportunity to go home and for them to have that opportunity to compete in front of friends, family, and show how well they've been doing in Arkansas?
Yeah. It's really exciting. I think that they're just so pumped to going back to their home state and competing. We competed in this meet last year, and I just remember the crowd being just really awesome. And not only that, but it's in combination with the Metroplex meet, which has lots of junior athletes. So it's a cool opportunity for us to be in front of a lot of fans, a lot of younger gymnasts who look up to these athletes as role models. So I'm excited for those that are from Texas to experience that. But, there are athletes that are even not from Texas that their clubs are coming to this meet to participate. So in a lot of ways, it's a cool feeling. It's a homecoming. And just being in the location of our national championship as well in Fort Worth, not the same venue, but just right down the road. It's a cool feeling. It's a cool opportunity. And, I think our team is ready to attack the challenge.
And another Frankie question. In her routine, they do the Frank dog thing. Where does that come from?
It started last year. She had that Snoop Dogg da 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 song. And it just sort of was like an iconic piece of her routine, and Frank Dog is kind of her nickname. And so that was one element when we changed her floor routine and her music this year. She wanted to keep it, and it's a cool moment where our team can interact with her during her floor routine, and it's just so Frankie. It's just she's so much fun to watch. She performs better than most athletes I've ever seen. And I just think what a great example of just living in the moment, competing freely, doing the gymnastics well, obviously, but just competing and showing off just her talent and her dance. It's really exciting to watch.
And Arkansas floor is one of the best in the country. And so with her athletes like her and Leah Smith, I'm sure as in gymnastics, it's not a very diverse sport when it comes to American gymnastics. So what does it mean to have those athletes on your team to kind of represent African Americans and show other girls of all walks of life that they can do gymnastics at a high level?
I think it's a really big deal. I think young gymnasts look at our team and they're looking for someone that looks like them. And there are so many talented athletes, but I think, you know, especially Leanne Frankie being a role model for the younger Black athletes, that's something that they're really passionate about. If you ask them, it matters to them to be a role model, to be representation within this program and in this on this university. So I'm really excited for them. They're also you know, part of the executive committee of the Black Leadership Athletic Council here on campus. They meet frequently, they put on events, they help, you know, educate people on diversity and Black culture. So I love that they're passionate about that. And just, you know, I continue to just encourage them to be a voice for their community and just be a role model for those young gymnasts that look up to them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jordyn.
Tom, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Jordyn, I think it was 2 weeks ago that you mentioned your training had already begun for the 2 weekend meet.
Mhm.
How does that really work? And you said you have a game plan in place. To the extent you can say, what does it mean that your training has begun? What have you done?
Yeah, so a few weeks ago, you know, we competed at home on a Friday night and they had the day off on Saturday. And then we always practice on Sunday typically. But typically Sunday practice is a little bit lighter and it's more of a needs-based day, depending on how much they competed. But a couple weeks ago, we pushed them pretty hard on Sunday, meaning we did full gymnastics across the board. And really it was a test to see how they would handle that challenge, not just physically, but also mentally and how they approached it. And it gave us a lot of information of who looked good on Sunday, who was able to do the gymnastics to the level that, you know, we normally see on the Friday night. So we learned a lot. And then, you know, as far as a game plan goes, obviously it's balancing out, you know, who can go both days, and do we have the same lineup on floor? That's really the event that a double weekend impacts the most because it's the hardest on your legs. And it takes a while to recover from it. So, you know, floor is the one where we might see some changes in the lineup. Everything else I anticipate might stay pretty consistent because we want to put our best lineups up both meets if at all possible. As far as the game plan goes, in addition to that, in the lineups, it's really about how we utilize that off day when we're in Fort Worth. We're traveling in masseuse. We're going to do lots of treatment, lots of recovery. We're going to make sure we schedule in some time to walk around and get them moving and just keep them feeling good, so that we're fully recovered by the time we compete on Monday again at 2:00. But I think the team is really excited for the challenge, and that day of practice really built their confidence, and they proved to themselves, hey, we can handle this load back-to-back days.
Your vault scoring. The commentator mentioned that on Friday. Is there any concern that maybe your difficulty level's not getting across to the scoring? Or is something happening there that like we can't see?
I mean, you know, obviously difficulty is something we continue to push. You know, Dakota Essen-Price didn't have a great warm up, so we decided she was intended to compete, but we ended up shifting her to the alternate spot. So with her in, you know, we have a half 10.0 start values and half 9.95s, which is more than we've ever had in years past. So that's obviously a goal every weekend for us to compete as many 10.0 start values as possible. You know, it sometimes just depends on the judges and the meet and just how tight they're feeling. You know, as coaches, we look at the scores and go, okay, you know, sometimes they might be tighter than others, but the deductions are there. So the only thing that we can do is, you know, put in those summary forms and get that feedback and continue to get better.
Okay, thanks.
Evan, you want to?
Yeah, hey
Go back.
coach. Sorry, one more. Over the last, you know, meet or so, we've seen more of Haley Klein being in the rotation in the lineup. What has the freshman showed you to get her and earn herself more minutes?
She is just awesome. She works her butt off. She trains really well. She's also what we like to call a gamer, which means she loves to compete and she does really well when she competes. So, you know, it's just been really fun to give her opportunities and have her really embrace them and get better. Obviously her being in the vault lineup was really exciting last week. She was in the exhibition spot at LSU and did an awesome job. You know, with a more controlled landing, we expect her vault to score really well in these upcoming weeks. So really excited to see her continue to blossom. And then she's just becoming a steady competitor on floor as well. You know, she's also looking really good on beam. You know, we've had some places we've needed to adjust some technique, especially in her dismount on beam. But I think once that becomes more dialed in, and she'll be a big player on beam as well. That was one of the things that she was recruited to do for us.
Cool. Thanks, coach.
more questions for Coach Weaver? All right. Well, as always, thanks for being with us, everyone. We got these next two, and then